Hey guys, this is Matt, and I'm back, and we're going to talk about a little more criterium racing. I know that it's been a while since you've listened to somebody that knows nothing talk about criterium races, but you're in for a treat for this one. This is, again, the Rumble at Roebling, or the big criterium series they have up in Pooler, Georgia. This is the men's Cat 4-5 race on Saturday, and pretty big field today. I'll put the link in the profile there or down below from last year. But last year it was super hot, but it was they did a great job last year, and they did another great job this year. And so this is the Cat 4-5 race. It's about 1:45 on Saturday. They had a bunch of races both Saturday and Sunday, and so this is the, like I said, the men's Cat 4 and 5 race. And it had just rained and really cooled the area off. It was super hot, or it can get super hot. And so what you've got is a field of about 20 or so. It may even be bigger than that. And it's the track is still a little bit wet. I think it dries out by the end of the race. But initially starts off wet, and it didn't bother me that it had just come through and rained, because it definitely cooled things off, and it was much needed. So if you're watching this on YouTube or in the YouTube app on your phone, what you'll notice is that this is a Garmin Verb 360 footage. So you can scroll around. You can either use your finger and swipe around, and you can look sort of behind me or to the side. Previously, I've had a GoPro up front and then a Garmin Verb in back, just under the saddle. And so, I had to do this picture-in-picture type thing. But now you can just scroll around and sort of see who's around me, or I don't know. It's one camera that you can scroll around and look what you want to look at, rather than just the direct front, direct back. They both have some pluses and minuses, and I don't know which I like best at this point. But it's also got all this data overlaid. So if you sort of scroll down right there, you'll see my cadence on the left, power, 3-second power along the bottom, and then speed on the right. And then all along the bottom, you've got the course, the grade, how far into the race we are, the laps, and then best lap, last lap, the whole thing. And then across the top, what you'll see is a timeline of the power output, which for any of you power files, or that's people that are sort of into power or trained with power or care about power, that's the power output across the top, which I think is interesting to look at when you see, because if you just scroll along the top, you see just how crit racing is so spiky just throughout the whole thing. It's just surge, zero, surge, zero, surge, zero. But anyway, just to sort of set up what's happening here, it's I think in the first, even out of the gate, there were a couple of attacks, and you see people attacking now, and we're going through the backstretch, and right coming through here is a pretty big headwind. It was a headwind right along all into the finish straight, and that really played a huge dynamic with how you could attack in this course, because starting right here, you had a huge headwind. So watch this. If you just look down at my speed, I think you're about to see it. Maybe it gets worse throughout the race, but what you see here is speed just dropping off to a point of putting out 300 or 400 watts and only going 20 miles an hour. So a huge headwind, which really just put a damper on any attacks that would come around out of that back corner, because if you attack there, unless you could hold on with like 400 watts and go super fast through there, you couldn't attack through there. The field would just catch you. So it really nullified an attack that would come anywhere out of that back stretch, or really anywhere out of the back third, because they would just catch the Peloton would just catch you in that in the last straightaway. And so I think I just sort of attacked or just put in a couple of digs. And so I'm just sort of tail gunning here, and I don't know. Like, my strategy in this is all pretty stupid. I just go out there and just attack. And I mean, I have some consideration about when to attack and when might be a good time, but otherwise I don't really care. And I just sort of want to go out there and make people's life miserable just by attacking. I don't know if it is, probably not. People just laugh, but whatever. So, right now I'm just sort of catching my breath, letting my heart rate get down, and just kind of tail gunning. And, on occasion I'll move up. I think here for about the next 5 or 10 minutes, I think I sort of just take it easy, but I can't really remember here. You got there's really 3 or 4 big teams that are represented. You've got the Velo Brew guys and their team, and then you've got Port City Pools in red, and then you've got Robson Forensic in like a blue, white, green, and then you've got this Fat Boy Mafia team, I think, as well. They've got 3 or 4 guys in this, and then you've got 3 or 4 of us that are from St. Simon's that all ride together. So, realistic, but we're sort of all solo. So realistically, you've got 3 or 4 teams, and there were definitely times where here's the problem, is that each time a break goes that's got 2 or 3 of those teams represented, the only people that are going to cover that are the solo guys like myself, or anybody solo out there, or the other teams that aren't represented. So you see, there's a small group off the front. The only people that are going to chase that down are the people that aren't represented in the break. And if the top teams are all represented in that break, nobody's going to chase that down. In fact, they're going to get on the front and just block. So, I think it's pretty critical to really have an understanding about the teams that are there, and who's represented in the break, and everybody's motivations. Because, and also, if it's a solo guy, whether or not that guy can or gal can fly solo for the next, 30 minutes, 25 minutes, however long's left in the race. So I think it's pretty important to sort of watch who's going and having an understanding about, who's up there and what teams are represented. So again, we come down this little slope right here, and if you just sort of scroll there, you see the speed. We get up to 28, 29 miles an hour. Group's pretty stretched out, and then we come over, and then we come down around this corner, and then it's sort of up a little kicker, and then into a headwind. So again, it makes attacking through here super difficult. You carry that momentum so fast into that corner that you just can't. Into that hill, that it gives everybody such an advantage that it's not like some big huge hill where you can separate the group based on the big hog mollies and the sprinters versus the super light guys that can just sprint up the hill. So because you carry so much momentum that everybody's going into the hill, that's that little kicker 29 miles an hour, so you don't get any separation there. So anywho, so then we're coming back into the headwind here. How far are we into this race? We're 10 minutes in, 8 minutes in. It's a 40-minute race. Again, I think I learned pretty early on not to even try to attack into this straightaway. And it was the same thing last year, although it was the opposite. The race was in the opposite direction last year on Saturday. There was a tremendous headwind for 1,000 meters into that, and it's just it makes it brutal trying to attack on a third of the course. So, and I mean, it's actually pretty stupid tactics for me to even not be completely sheltered by the wind. Technically, I mean, really, there's no reason I should be putting out 300, 200 watts, 100 watts. I should be right behind that guy's wheel and not off to the side. And maybe, if you sort of scroll over, I mean, it's actually kind of tight right in there. So I guess I could start to slide in now if you just sort of look using that camera. But, the key point there is that you don't want to waste an ounce of power during these crits. And if you see the power profile along the top, the last 4 minutes and the next 2 minutes, I guess, or so, are pretty low profile for me. I mean, kind of keep my power down. And a lot of that's just recovery, because if you notice, there are definitely spikes where, a big spike is 500 or 600 watts, which is probably an attack for me. So I'm guessing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Maybe I'll attack 11 more times. It's just completely stupid. But part of it is just trying to break that rubber band and trying to soften the group up and seeing what kind of legs you have versus who's willing to cover the brakes and who's willing to not let that rubber band snap. But my whole goal is to try to get on a breakaway purely because I know I'm not going to win a sprint finish. I know I'm not. I'm not going to get first, second, or third, and the only chance I have is getting a break. And so the thing is, I guess I'm taking the chance that I'm going to win 1% of the time, and I'm still waiting on that. So with a breakaway as opposed to trying to win in a sprint finish. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that my whole goal, I'm going to waste. I'm not saving a single thing for the sprint finish. If I don't get in a break, it's over for me, just because I'm not going to out-sprint anybody. So here, do I even try to go right here? What happens? Why do I see a power spike here? See, I see that guy start to go, and so I get immediately on his wheel because that looks like a good effort, And then let's kind of scroll around. Let's see what's happening behind me. The group is definitely strung out, and I think we have a little bit of a break, a little bit of a gap. I can't tell. This is why it'd be nice to have a camera on the saddle. But the thing is, see that? Group's completely covered that. They're strung out. I think group's definitely strung out. You see, I'm putting out 500 watts there, just trying to freaking go. But yeah, group's honest, man. And that's the thing is, if I look back and the group's honest at this point, I'm sitting up. There's no way I'm gonna just pummel on putting out 400 watts for, another 30, 40 seconds. That is just burning matches that I am not made of. There may be some people that can do that, but, I don't want to look back just purely out of the, I don't want people to know I'm looking, but see, I look back, they're on me, so screw that, man, I'm sitting up. No way, look at that, just wasting power. So, that's one little dig. Let's see, back to that little power thing, what's gonna happen here? So again, what you'll see is a power spike like that for me, and then you'll see it just kind of sit in, and then let me get my legs back, and then maybe I'll try again. Here we're coming into that headwind again. Man, it's brutal, completely brutal. I think at this point, this guy drops his chain or something. Yeah. See, watch this. That guy right there. Like, yeah, he came unclipped or something. And, like, I was lucky I wasn't behind him, because that would have been bad running into that wheel. The thing is, I think he stayed in the race. I don't know what happened, if he just unclipped or just what. Yeah, I guess he's back in there. I thought he broke his chain or something. So this is going to be pre-lap. Man, I hate pre-laps. I mean, their whole intention is to break up the field, to break up the monotony of it all. I get it, but the thing is, it just breaks up the rhythm, and it just makes me suffer more than I want to. So be it. But I usually use the preem laps. I don't sprint for the preem. I let everybody sprint and try to win a $4 bottle of wine, and then I'm going to try to go after that as a counterattack, because I know that there are people that all they want is the preem, and that's not what I want. I don't care about that. So that's why the only reason I like preems is because or preem laps is because everybody gives it their all, and then I'm going to try to counterattack off that. And maybe that's everybody else's agenda too. I don't know, but that's definitely how I view those preems. I think, are we lapping that guy? No. I was worried about that guy going off the front, and so I sort of pull up and try to get onto that guy just to make sure he doesn't go. And then I think I'm kind of giving a dig here, aren't I? I'm giving a dig. Group's strung out. But again, like, I think if you kind of scroll up to my head, I think I'll dig hard, but as soon as I look around and everybody's on my wheel, I'm sitting up. Not about to do that. I feel like it's just a waste of energy to keep pulling the group around the damn lap, around the damn course. It just doesn't make sense. So, do I try and I think I try to kind of go again. Stupid of me. No, and do I? I don't know. Just sort of. What I'm hoping at this point is just that the field is softened up and that they're just going to get fed up with covering this and that they're going to try to let me go. Because I feel like if I can get out of their sight, if I can just get around a couple corners, and if it's me and somebody else, then fine. But I feel like if I can just get out of sight, out of mind, that's my only goal. And if I can't do that, then I'm just going to see if I can just soften people up. I think that guy was like, you got to be patient. I was like, screw being patient. I just want to soften everybody up. Because I feel like if I'm not attacking, somebody else will be. And if somebody else isn't, if somebody else is going to be attacking, then I've got to be covering that break. And I'd rather be in control of the race than somebody else. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't, like... I have no hardware, but I mean, so what? I don't know, that's just the way I sort of feel about it. So, again, up a little kicker, and then into the headwind. Sometimes it's nice to look around and see people are suffering. Is everybody suffering? See that guy, he wants to go, man. And that guy right behind him, he did the Velo Brew races last year, and he can go. And so I'm like, man, screw it, I got nothing. Y'all got to cover that if y'all want that. So that's a steady effort. The problem with this, the entire problem with attacking right there, and I think I learned this the hard way multiple times, is that a straight headwind. In other words, they're putting out, the guy in front's putting out 400 watts going about 18 miles an hour. And there's just too many guys in the back. I mean, look at this. He got it right around that corner, got that headwind, and that whole thing just sat right up. So that's just, I learned that an attack right there is just so hard. I mean, I wouldn't say hard. I'd say it's not. It's probably a waste in hindsight. And the only times you can attack are back. The only times you can attack are really after this straightaway and along the back of the course. And I think, you see this, well, I'll show you here in about 10 minutes. You'll see how you see one power spike and then it gets flat for me if you're looking in the upper right-hand corner. That's I attack in the backstretch. So lull and power and then a power spike. I don't know what's about to happen if I'm about to go. See, I'm feeling boxed in right now. I don't like that a bit. Everybody's slowing down, kind of mushrooming out. Now's the time to attack. If you can get around that corner. See, somebody's going. So I want to be up. I want to be up there with it. Yeah. See that guy's going. I'm going to try to get to him. You know, naturally pulling the whole group with me, which is stupid. But somebody's got to cover it. I mean, if I don't cover it, the other thing is that if they're not willing to come with it, if they're not going to cover it, then somehow that rubber band may break, and I want to be a part of that rubber band snapping. I wish I could see around my stupid stem when I look back. But we pulled him close enough that I could pull off, and then I think I tell Zach right there in the black and yellow, he rides with us in St. Simon's, I think I told him to go right there just to see what can happen if he can get up there with him. So this is the backstretch where I think it's probably a prime location to attack. Right in the stretch where you've got a couple of bends, you've got a downhill, a little uphill where you can kind of get some separation. It's in a tailwind where the draft of if you're in a group, you have less benefit when there's a tailwind as far as a draft goes. So everybody's got to work a little harder to stay on wheel. So that is my thought, is to like use this backstretch as a time to send a flyer late. So that guy, I don't remember this guy being up there. Yeah, but I don't know. I'm dropping a Y bomb or two. Oh yeah, so this guy. So this dude, he lives in Pensacola, and he apparently moved from North Carolina or something, but he looked like he was another kind of solo guy in the group, and so wanted to sort of work. And so when I'm passing somebody like that I feel like is willing to work, like I'll say, dude, let's go, like get ready and let's freaking hammer this. I didn't realize there were two guys up the road. But I don't know if he got on or not. See the group strung out, trying to stay on. I didn't realize there were two off, or at least when I'm commentating, I didn't realize that. So, the thing is, you can either view this as nobody else is covering that, so somebody's got to cover it to bring it back, or those two are going to win, or you've got to bridge to it and be a part of it. So the bottom line is, if the rubber band doesn't break, fine, you reeled it back in. If the rubber band does break, then fine, bridge and go with it. So the way I see it is, if you're a solo person in these crits, then that's part of the gig of not having teammates that can alternate either attacking, counterattacking, or bridging, or whatever blocking, whatever the case is. You've got to be a part of seeing this coming in headwind. I mean, I probably could just sit up right here, because I know that if I've gotten this far, those two are coming. I mean, they might as well be on a fishing pole. Just going to be reeled right back in, especially with a group coming by like that. That's the thing, is if you were attacking there and you knew you had somebody in your sights, and this will end up happening to me later in this race. If you're there and those guys are coming, if you're around that corner and if you're within 50 meters, you are freaking toasted, because you're getting caught with that headwind. So that's the thing. There's like 4 or 5 of them. Look like they're kind of dicking around up there. I don't really remember what's about to happen. So that's a little group up there. 4 guys. They got a decent little lead. I guess I just felt like I was just going to take my chance and see. I'm out there, got my nose in the wind. Maybe I'm I don't know. Maybe I'm about to bridge. I got my nose out there. Should just freaking get in, shelter myself. It's stupid to be out there. Which there's a reason I like watching this stuff. I'm like, why are you out there so much? And so it's bridge. So yeah, everybody's shutting that down, which is good. And I work in to fill the spot. I don't know if that helped or not. Just kind of scroll around and look. I do like this Garmin Verb 360. I think I still like your rear view camera though. It's just nice to be able to see who's right behind me. And the only other way is to put is to put the camera on the helmet, and I mean, the level of dork and all of that just gets skyrockets. You know, when you got a big camera on your head, and you lose at least 1.5 watts, which I don't have any to spare. So, I mean, that there are a couple of reasons not to put on the helmet, but there's some cool videos that, because this camera will lock on to the direction that the thing's moving, and so even if I rotate my head, it won't spin the shot, and so you can just, so maybe that's what I do next time. Just go full on dork. I'm already pretty high on that, but go full dork, and put it on my head, on the top of the helmet, and then, because there's some, I think DC Rainmaker on YouTube, you know, he does a bunch of the trainer reviews and the power meter reviews, and he's got a footage on his head, and it actually looks really good. So there's that guy. I know that guy can go. So I put in a little spike there. Let's see what happens. Yeah, grips right on. Sit up. No sense in doing anything other than sitting exactly up. So how far are we into this? What are we? 26 minutes. I think it's a 50-minute race, so it's a long time to listen to me talk. You've either turned it down. Or given me a thumbs down on YouTube by this point if you're still listening. That's okay. But this might be something to watch on the trainer, you know. And the problem with watching on the trainer is that you're stuck in one view, I guess. The front view, that kind of sucks. You're stuck in the front view on the trainer, unless you want to like scroll around with your hand or something. I almost ate it with that dude. That dude almost freaking took me out. So that's why the rear view camera would be nice, I think. I think I'm still going to add a rear view camera. Seems stupid. But anyway. So we're all back together as a group. It's getting a little dicey. Where are we? We're coming into the headwind. Coming into the 20-mile-an-hour headwind. Could probably just fast forward through this headwind. Every time it's about the same. A couple guys off the front, they sit up, group catches them. We all screw around until the end of this straightaway and then attack each other's face off. That's pretty much how this straightaway plays out every single time. Oh, great, pre-lap. Oh, man. So what does that mean? I think that means what that meant. So that bell means there's going to be a preem lap, which means we're going to get, I don't know. The thing is, it probably meant less with that stupid headwind, just because it's so difficult to sprint into that headwind. But anywho, you know, you see the guy right next to me in the Cannondale. It's a pretty sweet Cannondale right there. You know, he's in the drops. It's funny how you see some people are in the drops, some people are on the hoods. You know, there's an argument that you should never be on the hoods, but it's really where you're most comfortable and where you can put out the most power and where you're the most aero. And there's a balance. And anybody that rides a TT bike knows that there is a fine line between how aero you can get down drops and low. So the groups attack out of the straightaway. There we go. And I think I do, I'm sitting up there on the hoods like I own them. So, I mean, I don't know. I feel more comfortable in the hoods with my elbows straight. No, probably never as I talk. But I feel more comfortable up on the hoods, and that's probably stupid. I should probably be weighing the drops, and I don't know. That's just something to sort of. These are the reasons I like watching these and filming these and sort of looking at who's doing what, and I don't know. I've got all the races from this weekend filmed, but obviously doing commentary on all of them it may be more painful for you to listen to than for me to talk. But otherwise you can just put music over them or something. It'll probably get a copyright takedown. But that guy's a nice guy. I'm talking to that guy over there to my right. Super nice guy. So, if you look at the power profile for the let's see, how long we're at 31 minutes. So, if you look at the power profile, what you notice is me sitting in for quite a while. In other words, I'm not attacking, and then you see in a huge attack, probably the highest wattage output I put out, and then nothing but straight across, and that's a huge attack, and then me in a break solo, just going into the pain cave and talking to the man with the hammer for a long time, seeing if I can stay away. And I mean, I was I sort of resolved myself to the fact that after that last attack that I couldn't get away, I decided that I would just sit in and wait for like a couple of laps to go, and I'd try to just go with all out. And if I got caught, get last, and if I didn't get caught, I'd get first. I mean, and that's how it is if you're trying to get in a breakaway. I mean, the bottom line is that you're either going to get in a break. If you're not a sprinter, like okay, fine, sprint for 13th. I mean, on some level, who cares? But I guess upgrade points and whatever, and top 10 and all that stuff, whatever. I mean, fine. I don't know. On some level, that stuff doesn't matter to me. I'd rather just try to get either first or nothing. But whatever. I guess there's some utility to sprinting at the end. I mean, I guess there's some. It's the reason, like, you run off the football field, or you run off the baseball field, or you run off the soccer field at the end of the quarter, or whatever. I mean, like, I guess there's a reason. Like, that's the reason you sprint. But whatever. So what you'll notice here is that I think we go through this straightaway here, and I think this is a preem lap too. Are there people going? Yeah, people are up the road. And that's the thing. That's fine. Let that stuff happen. People just burning matches, man. Just burning matches for 6-packs and stuff, and that's fine. I mean, that's like I didn't have any preems, so I can't talk. But then again, man, I'd rather save those matches. The whole field just picks up, But I'd much rather just stay on. We're only doing 200 watts in the field. I don't know what happened with that preem. Somebody wanted a tire or something. So at this point, he has that. So you see, that's I think maybe that was the 3 laps to go sign. I don't know. Maybe that wasn't a preem. I don't know. So close. I can't even see straight because of the lactate. So what you see here is, I know that it's a 15-minute race, and so if you just look down at my time, it's 34 minutes, so I know we've got 15 minutes, and every lap is 4 minutes, roughly thereabouts, or 4.5 minutes. Oh yeah, so look, if the best lap was 4:39, the last lap was 4:56. So the bottom line is it's got about 4.5 minutes a lap, something like that, almost 4:45. And so I know that if there's 3 laps left, that means about 15 minutes of pure pain. And so through 8, through 9, through 10. Yeah, so I'm like, at this point, I'm like, screw it. I'm going to freaking go, and I'm going to either vomit on the bike, get caught at the line, get caught way early and laugh at myself, or win, or if somebody can come with me, then good, but like now's the time. 3 laps to go, because here's the thing: if you wait till the last lap, the damn speed gets to be 35 miles a damn hour, and you can't attack when the group's going 35 strung out, and you try to attack, and there's nothing you can do. So the bottom line here is that it's so people kind of attacking each other, and so it kind of settles down for just a second. Like, I think that's Zach right there. It settles down for just a second, and then I'm like, screw this, I'm going, man. So what do I get up to? What is that, 700 something watts? 7 something. And the thing is, like, I put in 7, and then I'm like hovering at 6, 5, staying at 500 watts, just because I know if I'm putting 500, somebody's got to come behind me and put 400. So I'm just freaking, I can't see straight. I just freaking balls out, just cannot even. And the thing is, like, I look back, I've got a little gap, and I'm like, holy shit, I got a gap. And the whole group's back there, right? But there's 2 guys. So here's the dilemma. If you've managed to make it through this stupid commentary thus far, number one, I don't know. But if you manage to make it through this far, so there's 2 guys trying to bridge up, okay? So here's the dilemma. Do you sit up and wait on them and increase your chances of, number one, getting on the podium? Because if there's 2 guys, then maybe the 3 of you can work together. Do you just keep going? And so I look back and there's 2 guys, and I'm like, okay, dilemma. And you got about 10 seconds to make that decision, because you either need to go or sit up and wait on them. And so I think, like, I'm not looking back. I look back and I'm like, nope, I'm going. They can come if there's the way I see it is that if I'm not strong enough that they catch me, then I need them. If they're not catching me, then I'm stronger than they are, and I just need to go. That's the way I view it. And you see, they're the whole group is. I got a gap on them, and I'm like, oh, this is awesome, right? So now I know, what I know is that where's my power thing? The profile. So I know that I have got, and I look down at my clock at this point, and I've got 37 minutes, and I know it's a 50-minute race, and so I know I've got 13 minutes of pure pain. And I say, I'm telling myself at this point, 13 minutes of leave everything out here. And like, you think about the guys that go on the solo break and the tour and stuff like that, and those guys are orders of magnitude stronger, faster, better, more mentally tough than I ever have been, but this was like some glimmer of like what they might go through during those moments. And so, like, here, so I'm putting out 315 watts. I know that I've just got to put 315 watts, because I know that the guy chasing me and at the spear of the Peloton, he's got to be putting out 315 watts to be going the same damn speed. And if he's making any ground on me, he's got to be going 310, 320, 330. And I know most people can't put out 330 watts, for minutes at a time. And so I think, like, I realized, here's what I tell myself. I remember thinking, as if I can just get through the straightaway and them not catch me, that I can put enough gap on the backstretch that I can hopefully hold off. The other thing that's going through my mind is that, like I said, the last lap gets up to about 33 freaking miles an hour, and that's when I've got to hold them off more than any other time. But I was hoping that if I could get out of the Peloton sight, that they would just sit up and not even chase. But the problem is, I just could not get out of their sight. And so I think it kept the pressure on, and it kept the distance manageable for them to come get me. So, I mean, I'm like, I think right then when I came through, I didn't look, but I think I had 2 laps to go or something. He showed the 2 laps to go thing. Does that sound right? But I remember 39 minutes going, you got 11 minutes, dude. You got 11 minutes, not 10:55. You got 11 minutes to go. I'm trying to sort of scroll around with the Garmin. See, I'm way around that curve, man. I thought I had a huge gap. I thought I had this. And it's so what? So there's not a lot of commentary here. You know, the bottom line is that I know, here's what I know about me. Like, this was my second race of the day, and on a good day, what can I put out for 12 minutes, not having done another race already, the Cat 3-4 race before this? I could probably put out 330 or 340 watts for 12 minutes. Not always after a race like this, you know, after 30 minutes of racing. But at this point, I can only put out about 310, and I just tell myself, just try to lock it in on about 300 watts, because I know that the guy behind me, whoever that is and whoever's rotating through, has got to be putting out 310, 320, 330 watts to make any ground on me. And so that's why I'm trying to just lock it in on 300. And I feel like that's why breakaways can stick. The guy up front, the guy in the breakaway, he's putting out more watts, he's more aero than the guys rotating through. And I mean, normally the guys rotating through can each put out 330, 340 watts for 30 seconds at a time, and that's why the breakaway gets reeled in. But if the guy in the breakaway can put out 330, then they've got to put out 340, 350 to cover that. So it's just about how strong the guy in the breakaway or the guys in the breakaway have. And so, you know, this was a 13-minute. Well, we started this at 37 minutes into the race. This was a 13-minute all-out TT, you know, with a race already in the legs. And so, you know, I don't know. I have to say, and nobody really wants to hear me talk about myself here, but I have to say that we see the people on TV do breakaways like this where they're solo and they're like so close, and you think they are gonna leave nothing out. Leave nothing out on the course, and I can truly say that I do not feel like I left anything out on the course. When you see that Peloton coming down on you like that, I mean, what does my face look like? Just freaking suffering. I don't know. Anyway, so this is the moment that I was like, dude, this may happen. This may happen. I said, remember the last straightaway, I said, get through this straightaway, put some distance on them, and you may be good. And I remember thinking, if I can get through this straightaway, they're only going to catch me at the line, or I'm going to win. I remember, and so, you know, here, if we look at what are we doing? You know, 300 watts at 22 miles an hour. So I'm just like, it's like the freaking parachute is out. And you see on that little schematic of the course just how long that straightaway is. I mean, it's the full length of, you know, it's half the course in distance. Can you see the group at all? See, this is when the rear camera would be nice. And I hate to keep talking about the rear camera, but that would be really nice. I think he says right there, one to go. And I remember in my mind, like, I could not make sense of the fact of what one to go meant. So does that mean now after this there will be 0 to go? Like, I couldn't figure out if I really had 1 to go, or if I know this sounds so stupid now. I didn't know what 1 to go meant. I couldn't, if that meant 0 to go, like this is the last lap, or after this my mind, the lactate was clearly doing, in the hypoxemia, it was doing bad things to my brain. And the thing is, I didn't have my heart rate monitor, and I'm so glad I didn't, because I would hate to see what my heart rate was doing at this point. But you see, I mean, I've still got a decent gap on them, man. And I'm like, every now and again, I'll look back and but they are strung. It looks like they're strung out coming at me. I mean, you can imagine that. I guess the field is probably doing you know, to catch me within a lap at that distance. I mean, yeah, look, they're all strung out. They are freaking coming at me. Look at that. I didn't look back. I don't know. I'm looking back on the Garmin Verb, the rear angle, and I am like, did not look back, so I have no idea if they were gaining on me or not. I knew that the home stretch, they would be coming at me hard, but I did not know how far. See, I look back right there and I'm like, fudge. Damn, I need a rear camera. Yeah, they're coming, man. They are coming. You see how like the first 5 is all strung out. It's not like a double pace line. And so here we are. We got this. We're gonna go around. Where's the map thing? So we're gonna go around this bend. Actually, I was trying to get a time difference when they passed that guy. It's probably about 10 or 12, 13 seconds. Dang, they made up 13 seconds in like 2 minutes. Damn. That is crazy. I mean, they were just freaking hammering it. So here, I mean, could I have gone harder here? I guess I should have. I guess I should have been doing 350 watts. I mean, I don't know how else I could have done this. You know what I mean? You think about, in every race we look back and we're like, how could we have done better? You know, I don't know. I mean, I'm at threshold for 13 minutes. You know, I get a little bit down in the drops just to get a little more aero. My face, I'm about to vomit. It's not the face of not hiding my, and so I look back and I'm like, I get to get over this hill right here, and then I go straight into the headwind. And I would love to know a time gap on this. Do I get out of the saddle? No, I don't get out of the saddle. But I remember going, Matt, you got to do 350. You got to get those watts up and just go. And so that's why I'm like 370, just hammering. And then here it is, straight headwind, parachute out, and then this is, get your popcorn out, because this is the best right here. So I'm like, my weekend warrior moment of glory, or nipped at the line, and just, can you see the, it's so stupid here. I'm such an idiot. So we get to that barricade portion, and I'm like, just go. And if you look back just over like my left knee, and I don't know how far I had to go, I'm like, oh my God, I may have this. And then, I just accidentally paused it. I may have this. I mean, look at that. They come right around and swamp me at like twice my speed and just get completely nipped at the line. I mean, it was fun. These guys, everybody raced great, and it was super fun. And it was a great time. They did a great job putting this on anyway. So thanks, everybody out there. Hope to see you out there racing. See you guys.